Yes, and it's awesome. We need to talk about it. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, and the reason why we haven't been talking a lot of cars recently is because of you guys, which is great. Which means you guys are chatting a bunch, which is what we love. Because the whole reason we do this is to engage more with you guys, chat cars with you guys, and if it goes away from cars, so be it. So you wanted to do fun chats about not that. We're cool with it. But first, we're going to talk about cars. I disagree with you completely, but a lot of people do agree with you because the design language is very out there. There's lots of angles, lots of geometric shapes, and people sometimes don't like that. We've seen that in the past with Lexus's front grille. People didn't like the hourglass / predator face. So, hey, it's all about subjectiveness to that. But what Hyundai just put out today was something that, shockingly, all of us at Shifting Lanes agreed on.
Yes.
Which usually doesn't happen that often.
No. We do not...
Chat is mute, chat says.
I am no longer.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes. Now they can
hello,
hear me
Anthony.
and not you. So, welcome everyone. To those of you who didn't hear me when I was muted, I have a special surprise for everyone a little later on in the stream that I guarantee you're all going to love. It's awesome. But as you can see above us and to our rightish is the new Santa Fe, I think this is, from Hyundai.
Yes. Yes, it's the new Santa Fe.
And
which is surprising.
I mean, this is the design language they should have been doing from the start, which is copy Land Rover, which apparently is a thing in the Pacific right now.
Yeah, and look, as much as Land Rover, Range Rover, Jaguar, the whole company, JLR, now is on reliability, which is highly questionable. Their design has always been chef's kiss because their design is really, really good. Oh, hello, analytics of our channel.
Oh, wrong button.
It's all good. But to that point, Land Rover, Range Rover, Jaguar, they always make beautiful cars. They really do. There's not, I don't think, there are very few ugly cars from those three companies, which are now, one company. This is, like to your point, this is very reminiscent of a Land Rover design. Boxy, big over fenders, squared off front, tapered back with still the boxy kind of feel to it. Quite frankly, I love it. I am a huge fan of this design, and it is, quite frankly, one of the best. And here's the thing about this. This is not a rendering. This is a real, so the look of this, I think, is imagery, but this is how the car is going to look. This isn't a concept. This is actually the design of the car. That's the biggest takeaway here. Most of the time you see these cool new cars and they're like, oh, whatever, yada, yada, yada. This is what it's going to look like. That's awesome. And I mean, it has a little bit of like Lincoln, the new Lincoln Navigator from that above kind of rear view there. It's got Land Rover on the side. It's got big boxy front. But it's distinctly Hyundai up front too, which is important because you can kind of make it out by the headlight. I love it. I think it's great.
I will disagree with you on a certain point in the fact that it's not distinctly Hyundai, meaning it wasn't attacked by someone who was drunk on absinthe, who only knew straight lines and was like, wait a minute. All right, let's add a curve here, a curve there. And all right, this curve is too smooth. Let's add another one right in the middle that totally disjoints the design language.
I mean, I disagree with you. This looks awesome.
This,
I
I'm not.
don't think
That's why this looks so good. It
but I
doesn't
think
look
a lot
like
of other
any
Hyundais look
of
good.
the other. Like this is when you look at this and you strip off all of the badging, it's not a Hyundai. It's just not based on their current language.
Well, I mean, based on their current design, no, but I do think with the headlight design and up front with the grill a little bit, you can kind of discern that this is a Hyundai. From the side, from anywhere from the A pillar back, I agree with you. It's not a Hyundai at all. The front end, I believe, is.
From like
It looks like a
this
Hyundai to me.
section back,
Yeah.
From like,
But
even this is
yes,
all
that
it's
looks like
boxes.
a Hyundai to me.
I mean, how about now?
I mean,
look,
the headlights are in the shape of an H. I mean, to me, it's cool. I really like it. I like a bunch of their designs currently. I think the Elantra N looks really cool. I think the Veloster looks really cool. I even really like the Ioniq 5. I know you don't, but I think a lot of their current designs look really, really good. This is no exception. I think, come on, what's up? Welcome to chat. I think I wanted to hit on your point. You can't deny that Kia Hyundai Genesis is number one in their styling. I don't know if they're number one in styling. I would say Volvo actually is pretty high up there on the styling grade. Kia Hyundai Genesis is the most improved in styling over the last 25, 30 years by a considerable margin, because all of their stuff that used to be old was hideous and like truly hideous. But this is very cool. This is a really nice, and this is a nice thing. So I like that. I think it's a cool looking car.
It already
I think
looks
it's a cool looking
pre-crashed, like someone drove into the door.
I think it's a cool looking car. My opinion on this is also a little jaded. I like beautiful things, but I also like weird things. That's a weird thing, and I think it's cool.
It's like one committee designed the front, a second committee designed the side of it in between the wheels looked like it was designed by a drunk mason.
I don't know. I think it's very cool.
It was like, oh,
I think it's very cool.
Here's the shape of the Elantra. Okay, this is our fast one. Oh crap, it looks boring. How do we do this? All right, we'll get a clay model and a hatchet, and this was the result.
But like, here's the thing though. Every sedan from like 2000 through like 2020 at some point looked the same. The Legacy did, the Taurus did, the Fusion did, the this, that, and the other thing did, the Elantra did at one point. Like, this is just different in a great way, and I love that. Like, you know, you can call it ugly, you know, it's subjective. I think it's cool looking. I think it's nice. It's a great, you know, departure from like the norm. I like the design. I think it's very cool. However, there's no denying the fact that the new Santa Fe looks fantastic. And again, it's subjective, but like,
no, this looks really good. Now, if I had to,
it's hard to argue against it,
which I will. So there's two things. Like overall, I mean, from most angles, this looks really, really good. We'll just go with, here are my three biggest things with this. One, the hood to rest of the car ratio looks like it has some van vibes just because of how short the hood is. That being said, something I could live with. The arches, which you can see in this picture, it's like Tonka-y to me, because like you have the round shape of the wheel well, and then it's just sort of the distances don't really match. If this was more proportionate to the wheel arch, it would look a little better. It just, I don't know, this looks afterthoughty to me. And then lastly, what in the crap are these things right in the back on the rear window?
Well, it's probably those design elements that, and it's going to sound really bad, but do you know on the Kia minivan, whatever the hell that's called, Sedona, Carnival, they changed it. The Carnival, there's that like little like design element blade thing. It looks stupid. My guess is, and I can't really tell from these pictures, is that's going to be a similar sort of design element. I'm not sure why they wouldn't just go full black and get like the floating roof kind of thing going on, because that's always really a really cool look.
I love that.
I don't know why, but you can get some black vinyl and put those right to black immediately if you want. Not that any consumer would really do that, but you can get rid of those. So those are of no concern to me.
Right. So like, here's the thing. Good things. It looks like no other Hyundai on the road right now. Win.
Yeah. Yeah. Boxy also win.
And like, it's the Santa Fe. So isn't the Santa Fe like their midsize crossover?
So I think that's where they're going with the departure. I think, according to Hansen, this is a longer wheelbase. So I think they're going for the Tahoe with this. I think they're sizing up. And I'm actually going to put out a reel/short form tomorrow on this thing. And I'm really wondering if this is going to cannibalize Palisade and Telluride sales. Because the Santa Fe it's not their mid-size. It's a smaller full size. So they have the Palisade, which is 3 rows, which is actually what my wife is looking at to replace our XC90 with. And the space in the back is really good. The other thing is the Santa Fe is also a 3-row right now, but it's smaller than the Palisade, but not by a lot. We're talking like a couple inches, and not like big inches. We're talking like 1 or 2. It's
big
a pretty
inches.
Big, well, because you talk about like big difference in inches. It's like, oh, well, the Tahoe is like 190 inches or 200 inches, and the Palisade is like 180 something inches. So there's like a full foot there. The current Santa Fe to the current Palisade, I believe, is like 3 or 4 inches in length on the same wheelbase.
Some would say that.
And at that point, you're kind of yes, in other areas of humanity, but not in cardom.
You say condoms?
No, cardum. I don't really see the point in having a Palisade and Santa Fe in its current form, which is why I think they did this. Because they realized, oh, the Palisade sells really nicely. The Santa Fe is, it sells, but we don't have a big SUV. And lo and behold, this comes out, which I think is going to be their big SUV now. So, but the other thing is, like, this looks so good that it kind of makes the Telluride and Palisade look like they're from 2005. Like, this is way beyond anything either of those companies make from an SUV standpoint, design-wise. So, like, I really wonder if this is going to cannibalize a lot of sales, even though it's bigger.
That's weird. Probably. Here's the thing, right? Like, if you make it smaller with 3 rows, a little bit smaller with 3 rows means you can take more people, but that's not what you're going to do all of the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, sinus has decided to show up.
It's okay.
So, like, yes and no. It's really going to come down to, you just described the exterior dimensions. I think a lot of it now is going to come down to interior dimensions, right? Like, you are a father of 2. You have the wife. You have, I believe, your mother-in-law with you as well. So, like, that is of a concern to where, your kids are getting closer to the age of boosters, not full-on seats, and eventually, right? So interior space is really going to be the deciding factor if you're looking at both of these, right? Like, the one is like, ooh, that looks really good.
Correct.
And I'm not saying it's your choice. Obviously, your wife, who's going to be doing the majority of the driving with it, is at the end of the day going to make the final call. But, like, for families, which these cars are for, let's face it, it's really going to come down to how much humanity and crap you can shove into it. And like, you might be talking about a 3-inch difference in overall length, but it could be a couple cubic feet interior wise. You know, I don't know. This is brand new. This was news
true.
this morning. So like, I don't know, but eventually, let me put it to you this way. If you're just getting a big SUV to get a big SUV or a bigger SUV, then yeah, the design language on the new Santa Fe is more appealing. Uh, Even though with like, I like the Palisades and the Tellurides with like the blacked out grills and stuff like that. So like, again, it goes back and forth. It's hard for me to say because I am not the type of individual who uh, needs, wants, has any desire to requirements for this. Like, so it's like I'm
Sure.
assuming the need versus like you, the person who actually legitimately, despite you know life, have the needs.
Right. And pardon me while I look down at my phone. I'm trying to find the wheelbase here. Just I swear someone had it
But while you're doing that,
as part of
I'll
the
just
specs.
uh, Antoine goes. If there should be another Gen Palisade and or Telluride, it'll probably be a go-to Suburban Yukon XL Denali Escalade ESV size. I'm just guessing. I mean, if this thing is basically within a magnitude of less than 1% smaller, I absolutely could see that happening. He also asks, does anybody remember the Kia Borrego? I do not. Greg might. I do not. Uh,
I don't even know. No one remembers the Kia Borrego. I don't even remember that at all.
uh,
Was that the original name of the was that the original name of the minivan? Was it an SUV? I don't know. What was it? Tell us. I have no idea.
I vaguely remember the name, just long enough to be like,
Yeah.
Doug goes, cannibalizing sales on a more expensive and profitable model would still be a good thing for them. Uh, yes,
I don't think so.
in a sense, but also no, because if you're still making something and don't sell it, you're costing yourself money. Even if the other one is still
Right.
so better the car with the bigger profit margin sell than the one, but generally speaking, new cars get more profitable the older they get. So because you're amortizing cost and all that other, fun language that I didn't finish my accounting degree in because of it. Um, Steve says,
It's also economies of scale. If you're talking about cannibalizing sales, like the it's not always good to cannibalize sales on a more expensive model because you might be making a better profit on the lower end model if you catch my drift. This one could just be an upsell, and they'll still make money on it, sure, but like the amount of people that might buy this compared to a Palisade might be a lot lower. And if you cannibalize those sales from a Palisade, well, then you're making less money. It just depends on what their production is as far as like overall cost is concerned. We'll never know that.
so this is the Borrego, and it honestly looks like they copied
The Ford
Subaru's.
Explorer?
I was going to say Subaru's homework on a Forester.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a Subaru Explorer
Yes.
or a Ford Forester.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the other.
Here's the thing, right? Like, I think what Hyundai, Kia, Genesis. Now, don't get me wrong. Genesis's vehicles are incredibly handsome to such an extent that if I was looking
Yeah.
for like a luxury SUV, luxury vehicle, full stop,
Mm-hmm.
that would be at the very tippity top. Like those would be the first vehicles I would take a look at.
Yeah.
And despite what I may or may not think of styling, right? Like, people talk about them. And in today's day and age, if somebody is talking about you and talking about what you're doing and you're polarizing, it doesn't matter if people love the look or hate the look. They're talking about it, and that's free marketing, and people are looking at it. And,
Right.
if let's say you're originally getting 50 people and half of them are seriously interested in buying it and the other half hate it, if you increase that number to 1,000 and the ratio stays the same, your sales increase. So you haven't, quote unquote, pleased any greater ratio of people, but you're getting it in front of more eyeballs. And I think in
Right.
today's day and age, with the way social media works, with the way all that kind of in the quote unquote trending space that we live in, is as important as making a timeless design. Now, don't get me wrong; it can't be horrific, and I may not like the styling of the Elantra N or whatever, but it's not catastrophic. It's just ugly enough for me to be like, next. But it's not so ugly that it's like, oh, good God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a crazy detriment. I can understand, can kind of understand why some people without taste would like them.
I'm just gonna not respond to that.
Thus confirming my correctness.
No. I'm just letting you have this one to make you feel better. You know.
Listen, we all know the Hondophile in our group is Hanson, and
yes, he owns one.
yes, and one day he'll make half the horsepower of the Mustang.
Yeah. I do, and meh.
Antoine goes, don't forget there's a GV90 SUV coming. You can only imagine what that's going to look like. I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, Genesis makes exceptionally good-looking vehicles. They are a symphony in simplicity, but yet immediately identifiable as a Genesis. I really like their design language. So, like, let me put it this way. If it's based on that and it kind of melds both worlds, it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, agree.
Doug, it's an SUV. It starts ugly, and then it's just a matter of how unugly you can get it. I disagree with that. Well, SUVs...
There's some really good SUVs out there.
You know, well, SUVs may not be at the tip of my radar or something I desire. There's some good stuff out. Like, again, it's completely not family oriented, but I don't have one. I dig the hell out of the Bronco design, especially in Raptor form. But like, I dig the hell out of the Raptor or the Bronco more than any Wrangler. It's just a shame that there's no Godzilla option, but such is the world we live in. I'm actually
Doug, an 80s Wagoneer. That's about the last good one. Doug also doesn't like most things post the Gulf War. So there's something to be said about that.
I think Doug thinks automotive design peaked during the Reagan administration. Andrew over on YouTube, the Saab 92X Aero hatchback is identical to the Subaru Impreza hatch. 92X Aero hatchback's 2-liter H4 engine in the Impreza. Yes, yep. Well, the Aero was exactly an Impreza underneath with Saab body.
Yeah, it was literally the same car. It was just product loaning at that point. It wasn't even product sharing. It was literally just product loaning. Saab had done that a bunch before they got bought by like GM, or not before they got bought by GM, after they got bought by GM. There's a lot of parts sharing, but they did that. They did the 9.2, which was the hatch. The 9.5, was it 9.5 or 9.4? One of them was a Chevy Traverse or something, Chevy Blazer, something like that. One of them was basically based on another GM badged thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's well, number one, GM owned Saab, and Saab couldn't stop engineering shit. They just couldn't get out of their own way. It was like, oh, this is crap. Let's make it ours. And they were like, that's like, I forget what the car that killed Saab was, but like, legitimately, it was, here's the car, put your body on it, and it only shared like 30% of the components or something. I forget the exact number, so don't quote me on that. But it was like it was less than half the components were brand new, not out of the Chevy parts bin. Greg, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You just went motionless. So I didn't know if you
So,
froze or something.
I'm trying to share our stream to other socials. It's not working out swimmingly.
Funny, I'm sharing as we speak as well.
Nice. Entertain everyone. I shall.
This is a perfect opportunity to share with chat their reward.
Damn it. All right, I'll be back.
Let's see here. I'll cue it up. Oh shit. Alrighty, boys. So, this, much to Greg's chagrin, piggybacks off of... Don't worry, Justin, it's all good. Welcome. Better to have you late than never. This kind of piggybacks off of last week. Again, much to the consternation of Gregson. So, but I found myself with some time. So, behold. Wrangler had a limited edition. I'm pretty sure the Wrangler still has a V8. But, yeah, I had some time on my hands, gentlemen. And,
What the shit is that? Oh, God. What happened?
oh,
That is tragic.
don't worry. There's multiple options.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Moist Motorsports. I hate you so much. This is the worst thing ever.
Doug, thank you for the 100 stars. It just goes
Oh, my God.
Moist Motorsports.
Steve, white girl screaming. At least you put it on an E90 M3. I appreciate that.
It's the only car I had in my Gran Turismo library that you've owned.
Is it the no? It's a two-door. That's so funny though. God damn it!
It's just I crammed as much Greg as I could into this.
Oh my God! And this is our YouTube thumbnail. Christ!
No, our YouTube thumbnail is the next car.
Oh no! You put it on a GTI. Oh my! Oh no! The freaking GR Corolla. Oh no, it's the two-door. It's a Yaris. Oh my God! What is this? This is so bad.
So for whatever reason it wouldn't come through with texturing, but I actually think the many looks of Greg could be the new camouflage for motorsports.
I was gonna say, if we multiplied this, you might not be able to tell it's me.
I mean, the only people who know it's you are the people in this stream.
Yeah, and if you are watching this, by the way, either now when you've never seen any of our stuff, or later and you've never seen any of our stuff and you've gotten this far in, there's a whole joke behind this, an inside joke for the regulars on this stream. And thank you guys for being regulars on the stream. But there was a whole thing where Chad made merchandise of me because my roommate my neighbor back in college, she was a photography major, and she came into our apartment one day and was like, all right, who's up for a photo shoot? And we're like, okay. So we all went over to her apartment. There's a big white wall as you walk into every apartment in this complex. So we just stood there. She took some shots. She was like, do this, that, and the other thing. So that's what we did. And mine came out notably. I thought they were cool, but I was also 19 and in college, and I'm like, yeah, this is sick. And looking back on it, I'm like, wow, these are notably douchey. So these horrible freaking shots that Chad found one night and was like, I wonder what would happen. I made merch out of these. So Chad did, and it's been a meme joke ever since. And if you want to do that, you can always join our support group, Shift Posting. It's in our Facebook profile. Go there and join, because we have conversations like this on stream and now off stream, and it's great.
Honk.
So, yeah, someone out there agrees. You should join our support group. Justin, thank you for the 500 stars for the continuation of the Gregson merch line. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, bro.
Steve goes, I need this for Forza.
Yes, he said, "I need this for Forza twice." That means you have to give it to
Well,
him
when
and
the new
making him for Forza.
I can Steve, DM me the file formats it wants, and I think I can make that happen. Back to cars.
And Doug, also thank you for the 100 stars. Appreciate it, brother.
Antoine goes, and I think I can handle this one. By the way, Antoine says? By the way, when did Ford have a 5.4 liter Coyote engine they put in the Mustang GT4 race car? Have they been holding? Thank you. Have they been holding out
Sorry.
on the Coyote engine upgrades this whole time? They should have upgraded the 5.0 to a 5.4 the entire time. It's basically part of their motorsports division. So number one, Ford, you can actually buy a 5.2 liter Coyote. It's called the Illuminator. It's not the Voodoo. It's not the flat plane crank. It's a cross plane. It's called the Illuminator from Ford Performance as a crate engine. A variation of that engine has been what's powering the S550, GT350, GT4 race cars. They kind of punched it out to 5.4 for the GT4, and I believe actually the GT3 car is going to have a similar variation of that engine. And it sounds absolutely epic. The difference is sound. It sounds so much different than wait a minute. What the frick is that? Okay. The sound is pretty freaking epic. Let me see if I can.
Oh, and yes, Steve, that was your idea with the help of Doug and Chad. Correct. My bad. Good point of correction there.
3. But like it has this throaty sort of. Here we go. That right there, that noise, that sort of deeper baritone. So that deeper baritone noise, I'm guessing, comes from one, the cams, two, the way the exhaust is designed, but also the added displacement. But listening to that, it was like, maybe I should have just said fuck it and gotten an Illuminator with the money I spent boosting the Mustang.
I mean, I don't know. Your car sounds pretty ridiculous.
It does
so
sound
I
insane,
think
and like
great call.
I do have to. I am eventually going to put a different exhaust on it to try to take some of the rasp out. Steve. Anyway, but yeah, Antoine. The difference is that like, see, I was kind of expecting when they announced the Dark Horse for it to have some variation of the Illuminator in it, just because they've been making it. It effectively is a Voodoo with the difference being the crankshaft and obviously the connecting rods and the internals, but the heads are straight Voodoo, so they flow really well. The valve train and all that stuff is designed for the 8,300 RPM that Voodoo can make, so it's pretty damn robust. And I mean, here's the thing though, where you can go out and get like a 600 horsepower LS variant for 15 all in. Like, I'm just talking crate motor, not, just going to a pick and pull. The Illuminator starts at like $21,000. Like, it is worth literally 4 times what I paid for my Volvo. So it is it's an expensive piece. I think they list it in sort of the stock form at 570 horsepower. I know people have gotten that with compression ratio and different things, have gotten them well north of 600 NA at the crank. So definitely, that's an engine that's been on my radar for a long time. And let me just put it this way: if I win the lottery, there will be signs. I will. That engine will make an appearance in something, but
Yeah. Also, we're gonna need to re-show the Moist Motorsports stuff because Anthony's not on, so he's gonna need to see that a little later when he comes back.
Gotcha.
I think he said he was driving home.
Absolutely, I will have that queued and ready to go for him.
I'm sure he'll be thankful.
Light bulb. Greg, go.
Yeah, I got nothing. So
Actually, how about this? We have just a few of you here. I want everyone in chat right now to put. I know we did a little bit of this yesterday, but guess the horsepower and torque numbers for Greg's car because you are going to the dyno tomorrow. Yes.
yeah, yes, I am.
So I want everyone to put their guesses for horsepower and torque at the wheels in here. And I will create a one-off I-1 shifting lanes prices right up. We'll make a merch of your choosing, and then we'll present it. But you'll get the first run of it. So, Greg, how much horsepower do you think you're going to make?
Well, so for those listening, here's what it made originally. When this was totally bone stock, nothing, literally bone stock. It was 315 horsepower, 395 pound-feet of torque at the wheels, not at the crank. So that roughly translates, hang on. So it's an all-wheel drive dyno. Let's do 315. Let's take into consideration 15% parasitic loss. So what is it, divided by 0.85? That's roughly 370 at the crank. And then 395 at the wheels divided by 0.85. That's roughly 464 at the crank. So this thing's rated 345, 369 from factory. Lies, absolute shenanigans. 15% for an all-wheel drive dyno is conservative. Usually it's between 18 to 20%. At least that's what this dyno operator tells me. So I'm going to trust his opinion over literally everyone else's because he operates and owns an all-wheel drive dyno, and they are one of the top-rated Subaru tuning shops in the entire country. So I'm taking his word for it, but I'm going even lower. I'm saying 15% drivetrain loss. So either way, at the wheels, I just wanted to give you the crank numbers. So at the wheels, it did 315, 395. I have since done a tune with Rika Engineering, as well as a downpipe, high flow cat downpipe from Josh over at 88 Fab. Now, with that said, you guys are saying 445 horsepower, 473 pound-feet of torque. Now remember, we're going at the wheels, not the crank. So 315, 395 at the wheels. So Justin, I'm assuming you're saying 445, 473. 473 at the wheels. Doug is saying 446, 474 at the wheels. I mean, dude, if I can push 450 at the wheels, the downpipe and a tune, I'll be ecstatic. Steve's saying 370, 405. That's actually close to what I was gonna say. I'm thinking at the wheels, I'm gonna say I've picked up 40 wheel. So I'm thinking 345 wheel horsepower, right? It's 15 plus, 355 wheel horsepower. And I think I've picked up probably 70 torque. So what is 395 plus 70? Just because I'm too lazy to do the math myself, 465. So I'm saying 355, 465 at the wheels. That's my guess. Justin amends his to say to the wheels, I'm going to say 400, 426. That would be sick if I could pick up 85 horsepower at the wheels. That would be nuts. But it's not out of. Did that thing just land on me? You little son of a bitch. Look at this guy. Again. These things are flying all over my garage right now, these little beetles. Get the hell out of here. It's on 545 and 630. Man, if that came from a downpipe and a tune, I'd probably own an Audi. Audis are really well known for picking up insane horsepower with just a downpipe and a tune. That would be crazy. But I'm really thinking 355, 465. Those are my guesses. If they're over that, I'm ecstatic. That would be great. But we'll have to see. Again, there's so many beetles in my garage right now. Go away. There's a giant one. It's like this big flying around me, and it's just like buzzing near me, and it's bothering me. Let's see. What do you guys have to say? All right. So Antoine had that. Justin amended his the 400, 426. Steve, we need Moist Motorsports. Excuse me, Motorsports LLC merch. I hate you all. Go away, Beatles. I can't close the garage doors because it's so hot in here. The humidity is stupid outside. I rode the bike. I'm not moist. I hate you guys. Yes, my garage door is open because it's way too hot to close it. If I close it, I will literally be dripping with sweat. And I even had a box fan going in here earlier to try to get some of the hot air out. Did not work very well. But whatever. It happens. It's Jersey. There's lots of bugs. Whatever. They watch your nips. They sure do, apparently. I'm interested to hear what Chad's opinion is going to be on this because he's been to the dyno multiple times. He's seen my car. He's dyno tuned his car. So curious to see what he thinks. But I mean, I would be happy with anything over 350 at the wheels and over 400. At the wheels for torque. I'm already there basically for torque. And the thing just, I'll tell you, the tune on this thing just woke up the low end of this car. And not that it was underpowered by any means, because it's a turbo, you make more power down low anyway, but like it's significant. And I was not really ready for it. I've only had my foot down to the floor once around here because it's like go to jail speeds even faster now. It's nuts. Like I was genuinely shocked, like when it all kind of kicked off the first time I had the tune going. So I was like genuinely surprised. It's pretty good. So your Volvo is woke. Yes, it woke up. It really woke up. As far as like the low end power of it, it's pretty crazy. Andrew over on YouTube said, yes, I watched the YouTube video that you dyno tuned your Mustang. Sounds nasty and so sweet. Yeah, the Chad's Mustang sounds insane. It sounds so damn good. Hopefully I'll have a car that sounds that good one day. I mean, this thing sounds great. Chad will agree. He's heard it. It's a good sounding car, but like, as much as we like to joke about the whole Carlisle thing and tone and whatever, and like his car sounds better than mine. I'll admit it. I mean, it's a big V8. I like big V8s. Big V8s are my favorite engines ever. Even more than V12s, V10s, even though those sound glorious. A big V8 to me, there's not really much on earth that sounds better than a big V8 to me. So, just saying. Chad, have you returned? No? Bueller? All right. So I'm going to continue to entertain you. Chad, I believe, is indisposed at the moment. So you guys have your guesses in on the power to my car. We'll see what happens. Tomorrow, going to the dyno. We'll have a video out on that dyno run and other things that are going on with the car probably next week. This week, I'll have a video out about the tuning of this car and just my initial reactions and driving impressions when it first came out, or when it first got tuned. And then I filmed it all last week, but haven't had a chance to put anything together yet. That'll probably come out later this week, maybe around Friday or Saturday. And then next week we'll do the dyno one because continuity and what have you. Then probably not this Friday, but maybe next Friday I'll go to the drag strip. Don't think it'll be with Chad. I think he has some stuff to do this Friday and next Friday, but I'm going to try to go on my own just to see what it's all about, and see if I can break into the 12s. That's my goal with this car, is to break into the 12s. And so you guys know, and those that do follow the stream and watch the stream, one, thank you guys as always, and two, you guys sort of get a sneak peek into like what it is. The videos of this is going to be a 3-part series about making it faster than an E46 M3. And I know those that have been following us since day one on the Volvo stuff, and I love you guys and thank you so much. That's what I tried to do with my V70R. And after spending tens of thousands of dollars on that car, I realized that is probably not going to happen because it's still heavier. It would need a lot more power, and it would need a majorly upgraded clutch pack for that to even happen. I would probably have to. I don't think we'd have to sleeve the engine, but we would need to put some serious more boost to that car and yada yada yada. Especially the clutch. I ran like a 14 something, and the best time I could find online for an E46 M3 quarter mile was actually done by Car and Driver. In their instrumented testing at a 13.1 second bone stock. So pretty impressive actually for a low 2000s, sports car, the light sports car. But either way, that's the best one I could find online for a stock E46 M3. So my goal is to make this faster than a stock E46 M3 so that I can finally end the series of I have a Volvo that's faster than an E46 M3. And it's going to be a 3-part series. It's going to be the tuning, it's going to be the dyno runs, and it's going to be the quarter mile strip run. So with that said, that is hopefully what you'll guys see from me in the next 3 weeks. And I believe I heard Chad in the background now. Hello, welcome back.
What did the Polestar make stock on Prime's dyno?
So the Polestar stock made, we just discussed this, but since you missed it, 315 wheel horsepower, 395 wheel torque. So, and you don't have to pay attention to these numbers, but I did the math. With 15% parasitic loss, Dimitri, the dyno guru over there, says it's usually 18 to 20% on his dyno, but I went conservative. So with 15% losses, that's 370 at the crank, 464 at the crank. So those are the splits. But I just did that for shits and giggles. At the wheels is the real number that matters. 315, 395.
Okay. So based off of my experience with their dyno, you should be getting somewhere in the neighborhood. I would hazard a guess that you're probably going to get 351 horsepower and 474 torque.
Okay, that's pretty similar to what I said. Actually, I said I think I picked up 40 wheel, so I think it's gonna be 355, and I think I picked up 70 torque, which was gonna be 465.
Right. Well, that's basing it off of the gains I saw with downpipe tune on the C30 on their dyno.
Right.
So,
okay. So that makes sense. So you said 351, 470 what? 474. All right. Interesting.
I hope you wrote down all this. I had intended on writing down their responses, but
they're logged in the chat.
All right. Well, fantastic. So I'm actually pretty excited to see that. I mean, bottom line is that car's just it's gonna eat out of the hole, and it's gonna fall on its face on the big end.
Yeah,
but
it's because of the turbo. The turbo's maxed regardless. From factory, the turbo is almost maxed. So
That
the biggest gains are going to be low and
that said, in a
mid.
quarter mile setting, you make up more time early than you do late, right? So like, let's just say hypothetically you trap somewhere in the neighborhood of probably with that somewhere around 110 ish, because you were
Yeah.
trapping around 105 ish before.
Yeah, I think it was between 100 and 105. I don't remember what it was. I want to say my fastest run was 102 and change.
Right.
So
So you're probably
I'm
gonna.
hoping to trap a little higher. I'm hoping to trap over 105 now. I'm hoping.
My guess is you probably pick up about 10 mile an hour, maybe. But
That'd be great.
but
If I
let's
could pick
just
up
put it
10,
this
I
way,
was
right?
hoping
Like
more like
you could trap at 110, and I'm
Mhm.
likely to trap somewhere in the neighborhood of 125 to 135.
I was going to say 130.
So, um,
Yeah.
but we could very well run very similar times. Just the limitation of a street tire. You're
Right.
making use of more versus even though I have some steamrollers in the back, you're making use of more,
Yeah.
and you have a engine management, transmission management, launch control system that works all together at the same time. Where mine is really just a TC and my left and right
Yeah.
foot. Um,
Right, exactly.
which
So,
which aren't known for their precision, so to speak. So
right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, mine is going to be a little bit easier on the point and go method.
right, so like, and I mean that in and of itself lends itself to consistency, which is why I'm signing us up for Drag Week 2024 against your will.
I wish I could do that. That would be great.
I mean, I'll just steal your car at that point.
That's fine. That's fine. As long as we sign a waiver where if you crash it, you buy it, I'm cool with that.
I mean, I mean, not for nothing. Given the fact of that, it's not a crazy race car; it's an automatic. If it crashes, it's your fault for lack of maintenance.
Well, I mean, no, no, that's
I'm
not how
not
that
saying you
works.
don't maintain your car, but like, I'm just the driver. The car breaks; it's the owner and the team's fault. That's you.
No, not how that's gonna work there, Chief.
Uh,
Oh, that's funny. Anyway, so yeah, Steve, what did you miss? Basically, just us guessing. Did you put in? Yeah, you put in your number 37405 at the wheel. So yeah, I think everyone's in that needs to be in. Excuse me, or wants to be in. So yeah, it's we'll see. We'll see what happens. The fun thing is I have a work call from 11 to 12 tomorrow, so that's going to be fun to do as I'm at the dyno. So not sure how that's going to work, but maybe I'll just have connectivity issues. We'll see.
or hey, I don't know if you guys know how to do this, but just turn everything up. Drake needs more ignition timing.
That's right. Exactly. So what's new with the Mustang?
Nothing.
Is there any new news with that?
Not a thing.
No. It's good. The end.
Yeah, I mean, it's running all right. I mean, this rain has sort of put a damper on everything.
I was gonna say, it's put a tamper on literally everything.
You know, like number one, I mean, even if I wanted to have a little fun, traction ain't there. And then
Yeah.
two, like the freaking flooding and mudslides and all this other crap up in Western Warren County is
I know.
insane. I've had friends whose parents had to be like evac via boat.
Yeah.
There are roads
that's
that
not
are
good.
not there anymore. And I'm not talking like some rinky-dink side road. I'm talking Route 46.
Yeah, like big road.
You know, so like it's legit.
Well, that was like when we had what's it called? One of the big hurricanes about a decade ago, either Sandy or Irene. It washed out like a whole section of 287 up near Boonton
Yeah.
because of that river that runs right along the highway. So you get enough water. I mean, it doesn't matter how big the road is, it's gonna freaking wash it out.
Right. And then shoot, like that one area up by 287 is floods if like someone doesn't
All
turn
the
their
time.
sprinkler system off.
Yeah.
So like,
Antoine, it's not great around us. I think it's been pretty okay. But I mean, it's hit or miss on the area. Um, both both Chad and I live in fairly high elevation level, places for the area. We're not I'm on the top of like a hill mountain, and Chad's near the base of a hill mountain, but a little bit more elevated than some of the other low lying areas. So neither of us really have like too much water issues, but the surrounding areas, it really depends on like where you're going, where you're coming from, because the Appalachians here in New Jersey, I mean, it's always just wherever wherever you go. There's a lot of flat. There's a lot of rolling hill. There's a lot of valley. So you could be in one town and it's totally fine. You could literally drive 2 minutes in one direction and it's totally flooded. So it just depends on where you're at.
well, without a doubt, like like it's just some of the scenery from like Warren County.
Crazy.
Oh God, what the hell just happened?
Back end.
Yeah, whatever. People like
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy. It's just insane.
Yeah.
Like I've personally never seen anything like this, but like, and it hits close. Like, friends of the channel, Court and Lou, had some issues with their house and stuff like that. Like, Court's grandmother had issues. Like, it was nuts, man. And like, it's just one of those weird things where like people keep saying it rained this much, it rained this much, it rained this much, and I'm like, so,
Yeah. I do have a little bit of personal experience with stuff like that, just because my mother-in-law lives with us, and the whole reason she lives with us is because during Hurricane Sandy, her house got about 4.5 feet of water in it, and it was a single level house down near the shore. So she went up into a crawl space with three of her dogs, and it's one of those things where she didn't get around well 10 years ago. She still doesn't get around well now, but like doing that was like, okay, well, this is insanity. And we had to drive down the next day to like kind of get her out of there, and a lot of the water had receded by then, but there's still places you couldn't even drive in the neighborhood because it was 2.5 feet deep. So we had to park about a half mile away and just like kind of walk in. We're in like boots, we're wading in. It was like up to my like thighs, hips. I'm not like tall by any means, but I'm 5'6", and it's coming up to my waist in some places. Like it's 3 feet, 3.5 feet deep in some places. So you go in there and you just see it. You're like, oh my God, this is crazy. When we walked into the house, the water had all come out of the house at that point, or most of it. You could see the water line. It's like up to here. It was crazy. Like I couldn't even imagine. Like, whole reason she lives with us is because that happened. Then she got like a grant from the state to raise her house. So like that's what happened in all these flood areas down the shore. You had to like literally raise the house up on stilts, put like a concrete foundation down, and then the house is raised at that point. Not raised as in like I forget the different spelling, but like raised as in like torn down, raised as in like literally lifted. So it's pretty crazy to see. And then the whole neighborhood just elevated at that point. Pretty nuts. So that's the only time I've really seen anything like this. And it affected me personally, obviously, because it's my family now. So it's pretty crazy when it happens. Like we take a lot of it for granted with like the earth and weather and stuff, but like flooding is one of those things that you're just like you literally cannot control it.
No,
You just can't. Just get out is the best thing you can do. So same thing with like hurricanes. You can maybe ride them out sometimes. It's not the smartest thing to do. You should really evacuate. Tornadoes, get the hell away from it as far as as quickly as you can. Flooding, same thing. It could be flash flooding. It doesn't matter. Like when you have the power of water involved, get away. Just go away. Good rule of thumb. Just go away. Find a friend that's in another state and just leave.
Yeah, because I mean, water is insane how powerful it is, and people don't realize that until it's usually too late. And
yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Like my dad was down in down the shore during Sandy because he worked for JCP&L, and like the flooding there was insane. The funny thing is that up here, the flooding was worse during Irene than it was Sandy.
Irene was way worse than Sandy. Sandy was more about wind.
Yeah.
And the pressure of it, and that's why like shore got it so much worse is because of the storm surge. Irene was just like it dumped like 2 feet of water, which was just nuts.
Yeah,
and that's when a lot of the crazy flooding happened up here.
Yeah, like I remember Sandy, like, all right, I'm not really 100% sure what to do, so like we were going to like restaurants that had like power, like. And then, like, I got lucky because, like, we had power back. Like, we lost power on a Monday, and we got it back on a Wednesday night. Like, ironically, the last time I read a book. It's just like, to anyone who's curious,
Chad's got that book smart.
To anyone who's wondering, it's called Shadow Divers. Highly recommended it. Highly recommend it because it's just a really cool story. It's about deep sea divers who found a unidentified U-boat off the coast of Cape May in Jersey. So like, it's a really cool story.
Yeah.
So like, most of my reading is effectively like, oh, Hyundai released a new car. Let me check it out. Like, like
the book was so good that Chad never read another one again.
No,
books peaked with that one for Chad.
This was the book that ruined books. But it's a really good story. Like and I'm a history buff, so like it did a really good job of merging like merging history with the story. It was just really, like I said, I'm not a reader by any stretch of the imagination, but it was good. And like I said, I would recommend it to anyone who has anyone who's looking for some form of not shifting lanes related book learning.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, speaking of shifting lanes related things, I wanted to make mention of Doug and Andrew. You guys had sent me some stuff recently, especially in the shifting lanes crew and then on private message. I have been so crazy busy the last like 2 weeks. I got put on a pitch for my company. So I've been like 14 hours a day, 15 hours a day every day for the last like 2 weeks straight, except for maybe a couple of them. And at the end of the day, the last thing I want to do is like literally just go online and like read things. I just want to go to bed. So this week, once Thursday hits, I'll have a lot more time to like go back on the Shift Squad group and like respond to things and things like that. I did see that Doug got a chance to go over to Aaron's place and check out the Green 245, which is very cool. So I did see that. I just haven't responded to it. And Andrew had sent me 2 cool videos to watch. One of them is about sort of like the beginnings of the Volvo S80 and all the way back to like the early 90s. I think it was like 91, they said in the video, of like there was like an old school, not an old school, but a older new vision for how Volvo design would be. which is cool because it looks a lot like how the P2 S60R and V70R were. And also the S80 as well, for because obviously because that's what the video is about, the P2 Gen S80 and then the P3 S80 as well. Very cool video on that, and then also the fix for his DVD headrest, which he has fixed. So Andrew, I did see that, and congratulations on actually getting that fixed. So that's cool. Glad your car is working a little bit better. But yeah, so I've been like insane the last 2 weeks. So I'm gonna catch up on all that stuff probably a little bit later this week.
Nice.
The end.
Well ranted.
Yes, thank you. Where are you, by the way? It's just me.
Oh, I'm in the background.
Are you picking your nose or something? Get out here.
No, I'm fine. I'm just
Oh, there we go. Hello.
doing things in the background, Gregson.
Hi. Hi, Lieutenant Dan. Yeah, off.
Should probably save that for later. Yes. So Greg will make the horsepower.
Yes.
Now I'm really interested to see that thing on track because like it's crazy sleepery.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Polestar?
Because
Yeah, it's cool enough that people are just like people that really kind of like know cars or like are involved in like a little bit of the enthusiast scene. They're like, oh, that's cool. I know what a Polestar is. Yeah, but. Most people don't know what the hell it is at all, and then people start hearing it and they're like, what is that thing? Which is cool. And I do enjoy that part of it. But then it like pulls up to cars at the light and people try to take off on me. And you can tell like people try to take off on me and then I just like zip past them and they're like, what was that? It's great. I love the sleeperness of it. It's very cool.
yeah, and I keep thinking about it, and I don't think it's going to take much, but that has the potential to be an 11-second wagon.
It does.
Which puts it in the
It really
same sort of, in the same vein as Super Gramps, or the original Super
Yeah.
Gramps for Mighty Car Mods.
Yeah.
Even though, spoiler alert, they sold Super Gramps to Turbo Yoda, who unturboed it, but it was for his kid, so makes sense.
Yeah, I would too. Even though my kids are very into cars and they would seem responsible, even though they're only 4 and 5 at this point, I would do the same thing.
You know, so like, but I mean, 11 seconds is fast. Like,
Yeah, I mean 11. So let's name 2 very notable 11-second cars that we love between both of us: C6 Z06 Corvette and Jaguar F-Type R. We all know that those 2 cars are ballistically fast.
yes.
So if this thing can hang with a C6 Z06 and an F-Type R, I think my work is complete. Quite frankly.
I think it's absolutely, I think it's absolutely insane to think that you have a vehicle with that capability, and it's, it really is mind blowing because you're really not like. Let me put it to you this way: to get into the 11s, it's downpipe, tune, bigger turbo, tune, profit. Like,
I mean that's and that's getting. I mentioned it before. I think when you stepped away, like that's getting into like Audi territory because and Audi and Mercedes because those 2 companies specifically are really well known now for kind of like throwing a downpipe on, throwing a tune on, and making like 100 more horsepower, which is crazy. Like I think some guys that are on like the RS6 and RS3 Rennsport tunes are doing like 125 horsepower from a downpipe and a tune, which is categorically absurd to think about. Like just how like underrated those cars are power wise from the factory and how neutered they are. Like that's crazy to get that kind of power out of a bolt-on, one bolt-on part, not many, one bolt-on and a tune. That's crazy. So like this car's entering that realm. Granted, it would be with like an upgraded turbo, whatever. Still, a not insane turbo. Not talking like Garrett size of your head turbo, like a realistic turbo upgrade. A tune and a downpipe could potentially put me into the 11s with a Volvo. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I dig that.
you should. I mean, yes. That's like, what's not to dig? Like, it's so unassuming, and it's like, it's crazy to me to get there.
Yeah.
With, again, with not a lot. I mean, yes, bigger turbo is a bit, but it's not like turbo. It's not like me, right? Where there you added boost where there was none before. So theoretically speaking, right, as long as you got the exhaust housing right, it's 6 bolts, some drain lines, or some feed and drain lines, and a tune, and then
right,
race.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. And on that note, speaking of race, I'll be right back.
All right, now this is where we cut to Greg's ring and we follow him through his house. Mark can't wait for the stickers. Nice, man. Yes, I did absolutely see your.
No, do not hack my house.
Enhance. I did see the picture. That was epic. Stickers should be just equal as so. Steve just witnessed the right rear tire come apart on an older Mazda 3. That is unfortunate. Right rear. Interesting that would be the one that goes. Interesting that would be the tire since it doesn't do much other than just roll. But Steve hacked the house. So yeah. So I can't even remember what the fuck I was talking about. Yes. So anyway, Greg's, it, like I said, it's insane to me that car, couple mods, 11s. Where me, it's couple mods, couple more mods, a lot more mods, more money, and just, yeah. So at any rate, it's where like, here's the thing. Honestly, right out of the gate, I think Greg's going to be faster until I can sort of figure out my car. When to shift, how to shift. Well, I shouldn't say how to shift, but like, what I mean by that is like, how much clutch slip, how much, like, there's a lot that goes into drag racing a manual car that a lot of people don't really realize. They just think drag racing is and go. In any rate, sorry, I'm just reading chat. Doug, Shift Squad show's not available. Did I miss my dues or something? Honestly, I have no idea. Take a look here. Shift Squad. I honestly don't know. That's probably a Greg question. He knows more about the nuts and bolts of that than I do. In any rate, right. So like, Mustang's going to take practice and practice and practice and practice. And like, when I had just the exhaust and tune on it, with the headers, I legitimately did like practice launches, slipping the clutch and all this other stuff. The new clutch, not as easy to slip. Again, everything's overbuilt, and I shift faster than my feet react right now. So those are the two things I would have to, two of the many things I have to overcome in order to get, I mean, theoretically speaking, I should be in the low 11s. With a slick, I should nudge into the 10s, but I don't necessarily want to deal with a slick or a radial at this point. I like the idea of my car being able to go to the strip, do an 11, go to autocross, go to a track day, and change nothing. Eventually, when there's coilovers, couple clicks, and that's it. Like, that's what I like about my car, is just the versatility eventually.
I heard, I kept my earpiece in. So for the supporter group for Shift Squad, I'm not sure what's going on with that. It might be Facebook. I see subscriber badges on our back end, on our live stream Facebook back end, on our live dashboard for all of you that are commenting. So at least all of you that are a subscriber to the group. So you guys should be fine. It is, yes, it is a green badge with a heart symbol, Steve. That is correct. I clicked on it. I see that you have earned that badge. So I think you are still subscribed there. Doug saying Shift Squad shows not available. Did I miss my dues or something? It is entirely possible. I think Christian and Justin maybe had an issue. Someone had an issue recently where they weren't like in the group. I think it was Christian, where he like wasn't in the group. He had to like resubscribe. I think it's like a year maybe that it then makes you re-up for it. I'm not sure. Again, that's sort of a Facebook thing, and doesn't really like, involve us a lot with like how we. The only thing we can do basically is just make a supporter group and converse with you guys. They sort of control the rest of it, which is obnoxious. The other option to that is we could basically transfer you all over to YouTube and have you be supporters there or subscribe there. We could do a Patreon. You know, either way, however you guys want to do it, we'll make it the easiest way for you. I know we just like opened a Discord for a lot of people, but the Facebook thing seemed to be the most, or not the easiest, but it did seem to make the most sense because we have the biggest following on Facebook. So figure that would be a good place to do it. If that continues to give us issues, we can always change that.
What Greg said.
Yeah. I don't know. Anthony says for a bazillion-dollar company, Facebook sucks hard. Both yes and no. A family member of mine works for Google, and it's not a family member that I'm like close to. It's like my cousin in Maine. She married a guy named Michael. He works for Google, and everyone's like, "Oh, you know someone at Google?" I'm like, "Yes, but Google has almost 150,000 employees. We don't have an in at Google. It's just he works for Google." He gave a great analogy of like it's a 150,000 employee company that acts like a startup, and Facebook's the same way. It's a massive company that acts like a startup, and that's part of the issue. Is like it doesn't act like an established company because it's like techie and internety and new and exciting. It's supposed to be that way, and acting like that as this monolith of social media is not really the best way to act. So there are some redeeming qualities about Facebook. Like our reels and shorts get insane views on Facebook, and it brings in some money for us, which is cool. And that helps us. Just like you guys subscribe and donate stars and everything, our reels bring in money on Facebook, and it gets way more views than our short form stuff on like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. So, for what it's worth, short form on Facebook for us at least has been like really, really good. So I think that it just depends really on what you're looking at. But there are redeeming qualities and crummy qualities to all of them, quite frankly. There's not really one that's like, oh yes, this is a great platform.
Well, I think it's a lot of it is like they have to differentiate even if someone else has a good idea.
Correct.
So like it's like the end user is the one who ends up suffering just because someone who's quote unquote the smartest person in the room decided that, okay, this is how it's going to be. Everyone else just has to deal with it. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
yeah.
And not for nothing, if anything standardizes, like I think these companies work in fear that they're going to, I admitted that somebody else did this better than me.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like they always try to like be the innovator, or they did it their way and it's the best way, and yada yada yada. How dare someone else do it better than me, right?
Yeah, so like it is what it is. It's
Mark, thank you for the 800 moist stars. I appreciate that. Also, I hate you for making me say moist again for the millionth time in the last two streams.
uh
All of you can GFY,
GFI?
especially Chad for starting this.
What? I mean, I think Anthony's deserved this.
Yeah, I think this is what Anthony missed actually. So your reward for setting those 800 stars is the Moist Motorsports livery of douchey me. And Doug, yes, I will post the subscriber link. I'm going to the group right now. Please hold.
And yes, in case anyone was wondering, my first thought was if I couldn't find a Volvo, I put Greg on a French car. I was like, if I'm only going to be able to do one of these, given the time, it's got to be on a French car.
Well, this half fills me with patriotic pride.
And then like how many Gregs can I shoehorn onto an M3?
I gotta be honest, that gold looks real good on that E92.
The matte black.
I'm a big fan of that
I
color.
should put it on the Polestar. This exact livery.
No.
I do honestly think that we could throw something together where it wouldn't be obvious that it's you, but we would know. Like, if that makes sense. Like, blow it up so much.
Yeah,
that,
I mean this looks. I mean, apart from the side, like
what?
the side is pretty, but the hood's pretty good. The hood is pretty good, I gotta say.
I don't know. I think that's a work of art. Did this one, like, I finally actually found, like, I won't lie, I found my groove with the editor.
I think so. Like the hood on that looks like you would never kind of know it's me.
No, like,
That looks pretty good.
all right, so that decal's going on your roof.
I mean, it's because the face is all blacked out. It's like an inverse, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty decent. The back definitely looks like
That's
we all know
hysterical.
that.
I love that so much. And in case anyone was
So-
wondering, I couldn't think of a funny number, and I didn't want to do the typical 420, 69, that nonsense. So I just picked, 84. But in case you're wondering, over on YouTube, that's tonight's thumbnail.
So those in the know,
But it just looks
No.
like a camo, like especially on the side there.
it does kind of look like a camo, yeah.
Like, I think with this, I think you could make this work, Greg.
I mean, I would be very happy with someone else paying for that for me because I ain't paying for that.
All right, guys, we need we need about $6,500.
No, not for that. To wrap the car in that's to have that kind of custom wrap. You're looking at maybe four. Four max. Like you can get the way that these wrap shops do stuff. I looked into it recently to do a custom thing. They just design it in Photoshop and then print it on a big printer. Like they can do whatever. And because it's not like insanely intricate, like it'd be just big panels, we can make it work. But it would be like between 3,500 to $4,000, maybe 45 with some graphic design. But it wouldn't be 6,500. Thank you, Doug, for the 100 stars towards the final round.
And so it begins.
Oh man. Steve got yelled at for his last comment. The silhouette needs to be rebel blue and put. Oh no, wait, no, wrong one. That's Mark. That's Anthony. Hang on. Shoot all the Gregson lay douche load all over the livery. Gregson, you moist whore. Well, I wonder why Facebook yelled at you. You called me a moist whore. Shocking.
Cyberbully.
I like Anthony's response to that. Are you sure you want to post this in every other letter being caps. Which is basically what just Facebook does is like, what was it? I think it's when you post something like that, it's like, this is oh no, it's Instagram, where it's like, this comment is one that lots of other people report to get taken down. Are you sure you still want to post this? And I'm just like, fuck yes, post it. So funny.
Ah, hilarious.
Just doing the Greg face part on top of the existing paint would be pretty cheap to do. That's actually true. You could probably do just like the white sort of, lockup that you have on that livery on my car, because I already have the black background. So you could just do the lockup, and people would kind of. I mean, no one would know except for us.
I like that you're getting on board with this. Come on, guys, we can get there.
I'm not on board. Look, $4,500 is a lot of money for a joke. I'm not in. I'd rather spend $4,500 on like an old Volvo Daily than just not go to town on this thing.
Nah. We could make this livery happen. We could just get custom vinyls, and oh wait. What if we did, instead of the moose bar, we did the douche Greg?
God,
like it's on the side of your car.
Nope, this doesn't exist. Nope. I took them off. Nope.
God, I hope that happens.
Sorry, I'm texting my wife. I showed her the new Santa Fe, and I was like, "Yo, this is gorgeous." And she's like, "Should we get that instead of the Palisade?" I'm like, "Yes, warranty doesn't matter. First gen, let's go." So I'm saying, like, I'm gonna see if I can reach out to our Hyundai rep in the Northeast for PR tomorrow. See what's up.
Can't find a good spot for this. I mean, you should totally do that, and I'm not doing stuff in the background.
Oh God, please don't. Why does every stream end in my suffering now? I don't understand. I'm gonna abandon stream at one point. It's just gonna be Chad making fun of me, and I'm just not there now. Yeah, Steve, $4,500 would be great for my Jeep. Exactly. We don't need to spend $4,500 on a wrap of Les Douche Me.
God, this. Oh my God, I didn't get a lotto ticket today. Woe is me.
I had one from last week, but I don't remember.
Oh God.
I don't even want to win the jackpot. I just want to win like the $1 million one, because I don't give a shit about having $400 million. Like, that'd be cool, it'd be amazing. But like, I'd rather have like $1 million, because then you could actually have to like, I don't know. I'm weird. I would still like to work for things, but work in a sense that I'd rather do shifting lanes as my job, and $1 million would be able to do that. 400 million would also be able to do that, but then like I feel like 7 generations down are just going to be spoiled rotten, and I don't like the thought of that. So I'd rather just do the $1 million, be like, okay, kids, here's college. Shifting lanes is my job now. That would be awesome.
Or
that's what I'd like to do.
You do what like a lot of wealthy people have decided, and go with like a merit-based inheritance. So like,
yeah, I mean, we have that set up in our will anyway.
So.
But yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to go.
If you continue the shifting lanes legacy, you get, you get your brother's cut.
Yeah.
Can't decide if this is the right color combination.
Sorry, Doug. I have not been able to get to the Shift Squad group either on the back end. So here is the hang on. Invite. Wait, no, that's not working either. Yeah, I don't think it's you, Doug. I think this is I think it's a Facebook issue because I cannot invite anyone right now. Let's go settings. I'm trying to figure out our supporter group thing. Ah, here we go. Promotional link. This works. Let's do this. I'll post it in Facebook chat, so it'll come through anywhere. But that is the link to get to. That's a become a supporter link. If you haven't used that link, you probably should unsubscribe to the group and then use that link to resubscribe, because if you haven't used that link, then Apple takes a cut or someone else takes a cut, because if you use that link, we get 100% of that. If you don't use that link, we get like, I don't know, I think 60%. I'm not sure, but there's like a certain percentage we don't get if you don't use that link. So I don't know, whatever. If you guys want to do, I don't. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do that. But that is the link right there. That should bring you to the group and ask you if you want to like become a supporter.
Good job, Greg.
I think Facebook is just having issues. Pork roll racing. That would need to be called Taylor Ham Racing for it to actually be working, because pork roll doesn't exist. It's Taylor Ham. Chad and I will agree on that.
Yeah. Aha, there it is.
Yeah. Okay. So Doug's getting an error when he clicks the link. I think it's a Facebook issue, honestly. I would just try again tomorrow, log out, log back in, blow in the cartridge, hit it a couple times on the side, the usual.
There we go. I guess. So what you're saying, Greg, is you broke Facebook.
I didn't do anything. Facebook broke itself. Even Moist reason you want to act up. Hey, you're the one acting up. You shut up. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with it. I can't even get to the group right now. It's definitely a Facebook issue. We had an outage on the Northeast last week, so I think it's just Facebook having like an issue.
Let's see here. Set default. There we go.
Anyway, we're not even paying attention to our own stream anymore.
It's like and we have more viewers now than we did an hour ago.
Amazing.
The ASMR
Absolutely
sounds
amazing.
of us working.
Yes, let's not pay attention. See what happens.
Well, I have been diligently working in the background. That is theoretically profitable for us. So
I forgot you were doing that already. Damn it. I think you're making Moist Racing LLC merchandise.
Maybe.
That's my guess. Oh no, you're too fast with this shit. Hang on, I clicked in. Oh my god, what in the clip art is that?
I don't know. Free use is the answer.
Look, there are some pretty gnarly rear ends on cars. I have never seen a tail light as big as a tire. That thing is huge. Oh, also, if there's a black option, I will buy that shirt. But I need a white knockout for the car.
Yeah, I'm not that good. Wear an undershirt, damn it.
No, I just hate gray shirts. I hate them so
You're
much.
wearing a gray shirt and going into
I'm
camera.
wearing a black shirt. It's just very faded because I wear black shirts only.
Skip one. Oh man, I can't add filters to you.
Oh man, this is great. Also, once again, no one buy this crap. This is such garbage. Don't buy this. Please don't. I know you guys say it helps us, and it kind of does. But like, I'd much rather you just subscribe and send stars. Don't buy that.
I'm totally okay with both of those. Save yourself some money and just be supporters and members. Like,
Yes, don't. It's really fun. Like, I actually might buy that if I could get a black version. I would. Actually, not true. I wouldn't buy that because it has fucking moist on it.
yeah, it's a quick rundown.
I hate that word so much. I've become so desensitized to it over the last 3 weeks. Gotta find a new word to hate. Maybe I'll just start hating the word Chad.
I mean,
yes, that's right.
oh no.
I hate you.
I can't think of any possible ways to make that a merchable item.
Oh my god. I drank my coffee out of my moist cup. So fucking gross of a sentence. That sentence is just disgusting. What is this? Me, when I go to a party, they don't know I got the fastest car in this motherfucker. Now that's funny.
That is courtesy of Douglas.
I was gonna say, who did that? That's great. Oh man, that's hysterical. Oh, holy crap. Oh, hey, we got another viewer over on YouTube, Purple Paste. Welcome. Whoever you are, welcome. How's the Rika tune? It is glorious. And I will be going to the dyno tomorrow to confirm power. So, video, and I told everyone earlier, Chad, video on the dyno coming next week. Video on the tune and my reaction coming this week. So, yes, it is quite spicy, the tune. It feels considerably faster from the dyno that I've done. Had I wager to guess that I gained 40 wheel horsepower and 70 wheel torque. That's what I'm thinking. From the first dyno, which was bone stock, with downpipe and tune, I'm thinking 40 wheel horsepower and 70 wheel torque. So we'll see tomorrow what the numbers are.
Yeah, I'm fairly interested to see what happens because I mean so spicy that I don't know about that one, Steve.
Yeah, that's a reach.
Stretching a bit on that one.
Yeah, that one's a reach.
Such
amazing.
I didn't even notice someone bought me sticker. Oh, that was last week.
Purple Paste asks over on YouTube, do you need a downpipe for stage 2 with Rika? Good question. I actually don't know. But if you're going to put a downpipe on a car, you might as well tune it because downpipe will give you some more power. But to extract the most amount of power out of putting a downpipe on your car, you should always put a tune on. You don't need to. I ran this car for months with a check engine light and a downpipe, and it was just fine. But for certain cars, you do need a downpipe for stage 2 tune. It just depends on the car. For a stage 2 tune on basically every WRX that's ever been conceived by man, you need a downpipe. For a P2 V70R, you could get a stage 2 tune without a downpipe. It just depends on the make and model.
I think a lot of the stuff is stage bleh. There's no, it's not.
That's the other
It's
thing.
not standardized. Usually, what a stage 2
Right.
tune
It's
is,
just a
is
lexicon term.
usually a stage 2 is timing and boost, right? From factory, you have conservative
Right.
timing and you have conservative boost.
Hmm.
You don't need a downpipe to do both of those things. Now, boost will be more efficient with a downpipe, but generally speaking, but like the fact that it's not standardized, I mean, for crap's sake, I called stage 1 on the Mustang long tubes and an intake manifold, and stage 2 boost and everything else with it. Like,
Yeah. Stage 2 for Chad was a massive supercharger and 700 wheel horsepower. That's what stage 2 was for
I
Chad.
added
Whereas
Greg's
stage
car
2 in
to
every
my
other
car
tuning
power
term
wise.
known to man is a downpipe and a tune, basically. So
Yeah, you guys and
it really depends on your spectrum here.
I
It's a
modded.
wide berth.
I modded my car. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It was actually funny. I had I
Yeah.
went to Wawa yesterday, and kid in the parking lot, nice kid, probably early 20s, had like, it's not a new Accord, but it was older manual K24, like decent little setup. He's like, yeah, man, that doesn't sound stock. And I go, I don't have and I'm like, nah, man, it ain't. Like, I really wanted to say I don't have enough time because the mod list is extensive. I go, nah, and he's looking at me and he's like, so what do you have done to it? I'm like, short version is I boosted it and rebuilt and built the entire driveline. And he's like, oh man, blah, blah, blah. And then like I'm walking in and then he goes, hey, you want to race? And I go, you're going to need a smidge more.
Yeah. Is that K24 attached to a turbo the size of the K24? Or the K motor? Because you're gonna need that.
But I was like, I didn't want to be a dick and be like, pfft. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you're going to need a bit more of that. And then I was like, but that said, you do the right things, cams, exhaust, intake manifold, etc. Those Ks will scream, man.
Yeah.
Like, they're such a cool little
Oh
motor.
yeah, they will.
And he's like, that's
Purple Paste over on YouTube real quick. Looking forward to more Polestar videos. You'll get one each week, hopefully over the next 3 weeks, if not 3 out of the next 4 weeks. And the Do88 intercooler or Do88 intercooler is a huge improvement on the P3, at least for my R design. Yes. Also for the Polestars, it's a big help because the heat management in these cars is not good. So the intercooler is one of the best upgrades you can do, especially because I pull into my garage and all of a sudden I turn my car off and you hear the fans just go shh, and then my kids get out of my car and like, Dad, your car's too loud. I'm like, yes, my car gets very hot. So yeah. So definitely the intercooler, regardless of power, I'm going to end up doing eventually just from heat management, likely a next spring kind of deal because I want to run the car as it is until next year. And when I have more money, then I can put the intercooler in, the piping in, and maybe an intake in for more whoosh push noises. So more to come.
Yeah, and that's kind of the cool way you're doing it. Is it's just like the way I did it with the C30, the way we did it with a lot of our cars, right? Modded as we went along. The problem with, so what I could have theoretically done is I could have done it in stages. I could have done driveline, then supercharger. I could have done, but at the end of the day, it was there. It was a part. Get her done. Like,
Yeah.
And the best part about it is I too am not done, as we've discussed multiple times. And it's gonna be really, really, really interesting because like it's gonna be a closer fight than it should be, and that's really annoying.
No, that's what all-wheel drive does for a underpowered car. It makes it more of a fair fight.
Well,
Plus,
automatic.
it also doesn't help that you doubled your horsepower.
I didn't double it.
And
I'm only making 800 to
mean-
the crank-ish, give or take.
I mean, you had 420 at the crank. How is that not doubling it?
So for starters, it was 435. So I'd be making 870 at the crank to double it.
All right. Well, take your intake off then, and you will.
We have dyno proof that added all of 10 horsepower.
Well, what was the what? Wait, what was the track mode? How much
So
extra
taking
did
the
that give
intake
you?
off and putting like making it like 95 or 96 octane was like 717 to 725.
Okay.
And with 100 octane, 100 octane, yes, I'd be knocking on the door of close to 900, maybe.
Yeah.
So
So
let me put it this way: if I went 100 octane with and I put a smaller pulley on it, yes, 100%, because you get about
right.
I think it's like 20 or 30 horsepower per psi on these motors.
Okay.
So like, yes, if I drained the tank, put 100 octane in, had so like eventually I want to do something like that just so I can have quote unquote a flex tune. Obviously
Right.
not ethanol based, but I don't have any, like I'm not flex fuel capable. What I am is flex octane capable. So my car can run 91, 93, 95, 98, 100. And when you start getting above that, it's a little ridiculous.
Right.
But
It's not like readily available.
But let me put it to you this way. I have seriously considered putting a bigger pulley on the Mustang in the interim until I get the coilovers.
Just to get more traction.
But the downside to that is it's like a turbo, right? Like when you put a bigger turbo on, you have more lag. With the
Yeah.
supercharger, you put a bigger pulley on it and power comes on sooner. So it's like,
Yeah.
we could play around with the tune if we had to.
Yeah.
Which is a thing we've kicked around to have like not so much aggressive timing in it. When I say aggressive, I mean within the safe bounds of the engine, but
Sure. Sure.
on the performance side of that scale, and just sort of that sort of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. Really, what I need to do is I need to get on the freaking track, figure out okay, it spins until I get to fourth gear, and then figure it out.
Yeah.
It's but I want to get on the track to figure that out. And as I figure
Shit. Be right back.
the fourth would be the earliest, fourth or the 11th. But the cool thing is that Greg and I are going to sit down and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to figure out. We are going to figure out when we both can get to the track as soon as we possibly can, and let you guys know and try to do like a meet with it. So like you guys can come out, hang out. We saw some of you at Carlisle. If you guys could come up for the night, say hello. I know it's a bit of a drive for some of you guys to come to Northwest New Jersey, but I think it would be a cool way. Have some of my buddies come out, some of the guys who you see on stream every now and again, who aren't the regulars, but have guys come out, hang out, run the cars, have fun. It's definitely something I want to do and have enough time to where you guys have some time at least to sort of plan. So early August, more on that to come. Steve, yes, we have Wabas up by us. They're a relatively new phenomenon. But like I said in my reply to you, if Quick Check was closer, I would go to Quick Check. I know there was a whole convenience store war. I have no dog. It's legitimately a half mile from my house. So that's why I go to Wawa. Not that the Quick Check is inconvenient. It's just Wawa's more convenient. Let's go over to the tube. Andrew goes, I noticed the fans in my S80 runs after I shut the engine off for about 2 minutes, and then they shut off. After the fans shut off, there's another fan that runs for about 15 minutes and then shuts off. To which I think Mark responded with, you talk about the HVAC fan. There's an early P2 thing that basically runs the HVAC fan after the car shuts off to speed up drying the AC evaporator so that it doesn't stay moist. Nice. Uh, and grow mold mildew. I think it was called Afterblow, giggity, or something like that. They got rid of it in the later P2s because it confused so many people. Hopefully that's the answer to your question, Andrew, because I don't. And
there's fans on all these cars basically, but mine is just like a sort of just the heat dissipation fan up front that runs to help just get rid of some of the heat in the heat soak in the engine and the engine bay. The P2s, I believe, yeah, there's one that runs for like ever, like Anthony said, basically it's just like, oh yeah, it's to get rid of the mold and mildew buildup.
the moisture. Say it.
Say it. No, it's mold and mildew buildup. No, I believe that it didn't hurt, but it didn't really help all that much either because you don't really need it, quite frankly. So it confused a lot of people. But it was like you didn't really need it, and then obviously it just wasn't needed for the P3s because it was just a better design overall. But yeah, mine runs for like, I don't know, 5-6 minutes after, just for heat dissipation. That's the one that I'm talking about. A lot of cars, especially turbo cars, have that just to make sure that the car doesn't just overheat, especially when you run it hard. And that's actually why you see a lot of the guys at the quarter miles. They'll open their engines. They'll open their hoods after a run just to make sure that they get the heat out, to make sure that it's just not like insanely hot for reduced power for the next run. So I'll be doing that once I hit the quarter mile strip with this thing.
I know these guys because those guys are me.
Yeah, exactly. I know them because I'm the guy.
It's crazy the amount of heat that comes out of the heat extractors on the Mustang, to such a point that I'm like, yep, I think that is something I'm going to do very soon. Is get the heat extractors and like literally increase heat extraction by probably 200 to 300%. But like, but because I can in real time track my IATs, so like,
yeah,
it's crazy the difference.
That is a cool thing about your car.
I mean, IATs, AFRs, like the whole the lot, right? It's actually pretty insane, and I wish like there was a way. They do make digital readouts for my car, but I wish there was a way like you could integrate all of those gauges into like a cluster on a digital readout. It would make those $1,000 to $2,000 kits actually worth it, in my opinion. But it is what it is. I know I kind of keep track of the main ones, mostly AFR and intake air temps, because those get out of wonk and bad times. But basically, the way the tune is set up, way the tune is set up is it pulls timing the hotter the IAT gets, because obviously knock and hot air is not great for making horsepower, but in extreme cases can lead to knock or detonation. So something I want to keep a healthy eye on.
Yeah.
Just want to see where this pops up. Okay. Doug goes, from a Google search, there was an Afterblow kit installed on a bunch of cars in the Southeast. It's a relay and a circuit board that should be found behind the glove box cable tied to the wiring harness there. It is where the Afterblow on the P2 models got its development. Your description has all the behaviors of one of the cars with the kit. If customer complained of AC odors, the evaporator would be treated with air sept, probably long ago absorbed by some other company, sprayed on the evaporator via any possible access, and if the condition persisted, then it may have gotten an evaporator or another odor treatment. Then the Afterblow kit was installed. Anthony goes, yeah, the rad fans on most Volvos runs for a couple minutes after shut off on hot days.
There you go.
Your fans have spoken, Andrew.
Nailed it.
Oh,
All right. I believe I've exhausted my brain power for this evening.
fantabulous.
I don't really have any more,
Fair enough.
especially with all the MOIST things that have been said.
At any rate, guys,
Worst. Absolute worst.
to anyone, to everyone who sent stars, to our members, to our supporters. Sorry, Facebook is kind of taking a big old dump on itself.
Yes.
Guys, if we what's the word I'm looking for here? Push comes to shove, we can always just set up a group somewhere digitally for YouTube members and like use Discord or something as a way of doing that. So we'll track it and then we'll figure it out from there.
Yeah. Homework for next week. You all have homework for next week. Bring a car enthusiast to the stream. Tell a friend, bring them. We'll talk cars with them. The end. Homework. I'm assigning it. You are all being graded.
And not on a curve.
Not on a curve at all. Oh my god. What the shit am I looking at? Oh no. That shirt should be burned. That shirt. Wait, what's that? Oh, one of my favorite movies from the early 2000s was one of the first ones Zach Galifianakis was in. I think it was God, Snowed Out, Iced Out, or something like that.
Oh, Out Cold?
Out Cold, yes. One of the guys, the really like stoner guy that was like just dumb as hell in that movie. They're all sitting around a fire and he pulls out his underwear and puts it on a stick and just puts it in the fire. And everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Needed burning." That's what that shirt needs. Needed burning. That's what that needs.
What the heck?
Just take that, put it on a stick, and shove it in a fire. That shirt needs burning. Jesus.
Oh my gosh! I just love how
I appreciate the support, but that shirt is awful.
Oh
god!
I just love the enthusiasm on Mark's face and the complete lack of enthusiasm on the wife's face. Like
Jessica's face.
Jessica.
I don't think it's lack of enthusiasm. I think it's just like boss face.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is the worst Blues Brothers reunion of all time.
Oh my god. That picture is something else. Oh my god. I can't. I can't with the moist.
24-hour live stream of this picture and only this picture.
No. Also yes, but also no.
Just like Ken's burns on each picture. Back and forth.
It's like the zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in. Oh my god. That is, you guys are good sports for putting that up. That is great. And I know it was all for my suffering, but I support it. It's good. It's really good.
Greg is in support of his suffering. To the Photoshop.
Oh man.
She was so tired when we took that pic. Tired, like sleepy, or tired of you?
Why not both?
Can it be both? But
and Doug said the group page is back online, so all is good. We'll leave it at that.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you to all of the people who sent stars today. We love and appreciate you.
Yes, as always, thank you for the support. You guys are the best.
And we will see you guys next week, where we will have a winner for the. I have Justin, Doug, Steve, and Antoine for the Dino guesses. If I missed you, DM me or post it in the. Actually, just DM me, and we'll go from there.
Yes.
Other than that, guys,